My Little Pony, Resident Evil, and Panty and Stocking. The first episode of Button Mashers begins now. Welcome, Brony Nerds and Gamers, to the official podcast. This is Button Mashers, and I am joined today with my team of co-hosts. We've got Don.
Hello.
And we've got Octorox, or would you rather everyone know your name? I don't know how you like to go by.
Steph's cool.
Alright, this is Don, and this is Steph, a.k.a. Octorox, a.k.a. the artist of the channel, a.k.a. pretty much the most awesome person we've added to the team since Don.
Woo! Oh, no, you said since me.
Well, I mean, there's only 3 people on our team, so it's not entirely hard for, there's not that many people for you to compete with, Don. It's you and Octorox.
There is no competition.
Oh, okay. Put your damn DS away.
What? Keeps me entertained. I'm still paying attention.
Don has a very bad habit of whenever he's supposed to be doing something that's important, he'll pull out his DS and start playing it.
Or cell phone.
Or anything, really.
I mean, I'm playing with the Transformer right now, so...
See, I'm not the only one.
That's a totally different thing.
Because I'm really terrible at putting together Transformers. Like, I got into robot form and now I can't get it back. It's a bad time over here right now.
Now, question, is this Transformer an old Transformer or a new Transformer?
I think he's relatively new. I mean, he's like a fire truck man. I don't know who he is. My friend just gave him to me.
Fire truck man.
Oh, jeez.
And I also have one that's like a vulture man. That's really cool. But I think he's like from one of the movies or something. I've never seen them, so I have no clue.
A vulture man. Yeah, none of these are ringing any bells.
I'm not a big Transformers guy, so don't look at me.
I
was a Gundam person.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough. I was very much into Transformers, but I can't remember too much of it beyond Optimus Prime, Bumblebee.
Yeah.
And the movie where Weird Al had his song.
Which song did he have? What?
Dare to be Stupid.
Really?
Yeah. That was his song in the movie. Where all like the little beep beep little robots, and they dance around with the lasers, and Dare to be Stupid is playing in the background.
Oh wait, I actually think I remember this. Oh my, I'm getting somewhere.
It was pretty much the weirdest part of the movie. It's hard to forget it if you've seen it before.
The original animated movie, right?
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully, that would make it a better Michael Bay movie if Weird Al was in it, but I doubt he would allow that.
No. Drummy's already seen the trailer for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that Michael Bay's doing.
Oh, yeah. God, don't even.
Yeah, for you folks at home, if you haven't seen it, just go watch it. Just do
The Turtles kind of look like Shrek. Kind of.
Kind of. All you gotta do is take off the mask and add the little antenna thing Shrek had.
Truth be told, there was an animator on YouTube who did that.
I know, I loved it.
Really?
Yeah.
I was not the only one then.
There's apparently this fad that's starting up of people who are animating the last part of the trailer where Michelangelo jumps in. He's like, oh, no, it's okay. Just a mask. And he pulls off the mask, and everyone, like animators on YouTube, are doing crazy things. One of them made Michelangelo turn into Shrek.
Yeah. One of them did the father from the Wild Thornberries.
Oh, smashing. Oh my
God.
Can't remember his name, but I used to watch that Nickelodeon.
It's Nigel. It's Nigel.
That's it, Nigel Thornberry.
Nigel Thornberry. I find these safaris so riveting.
That was so good.
So for the folks at home, this is our first episode, so we're still trying to get into the mood of it. But for every podcast we do, we're going to start off our podcast with a kind of an icebreaker question. And since this is a Brony Nerds and Gamers channel with a Brony Nerds and Gamers podcast, it only makes sense to ask the very big question that most people ask me is, when did you kind of get into My Little Pony?
All right. When did I get into it? I was actually not a fan of it in like the 90s, 80s. Like, it never really clicked with me because I didn't think the toys at the time were very good looking. But once, my Friendship is Magic came along, and I saw that it was done by Lauren Faust, the wife of Craig McCracken, who is like my god as like an animator and illustrator. I really like the design of them, and I really like the show, and ever since then, I've been a pretty big fan.
As far as your fandom goes, Steph, what draws you more into it? Because I think everybody has their own thing. Some people are drawn into the art and they're inspired by it. Other people like the music, and more other people like the story. What is it for you that's the one big thing you would say that makes that show work as for you?
I think I like it because it's a kid show that doesn't treat the audience like idiots. Like, it's good for kids and adults because, like, it's just fun, it's well written, and it just looks good. Like, that's what drew me in initially, was it just looked good. All the characters had, like, a really nice flow, and the backgrounds are really, like, intricate, and I don't know, there's a lot to it that just makes it, like, a really smart, it's kind of like Adventure Time in that regard, where it's a kid show, but it can draw in a lot of audiences because it's just so well done, and you can obviously tell there's, like, a lot of time and care that's put into it.
Which is good, because a lot of things like that need that kind of attention, because it's just too often we see things trying to be sold off.
Yeah.
Now, for me, my origin into the fandom actually begins with Don. So, Don, tell everyone at home how you found out about My Little Pony Friendship is Magic.
Team Fortress 2. I'm not kidding. When I was playing Team Fortress 2, apparently the series had just started, was like halfway through the first season. And I'm playing Team Fortress 2, and I usually just tell it to get, drop me into a random server. I don't care. I just want to run around and kill things as a heavy.
Which is pretty much what Don does every day.
Yeah, I just run around and kill things with a giant chain gun. It's...
Like that fly you killed on my
ceiling? That wasn't a fly, that was a spider.
Spider fly, it made a mess.
It was that or fire. There was two options, the end of the broom or the lighter that's on the table.
All right. If we don't stop that now, I'm going to
regret it.
I'm going to bitch about it for the next hour. So you found a random server.
And there was ponies everywhere. I'm not kidding. Everyone's spray paints were ponies. I'm sitting here going, the fuck is this? I actually turned on my mic, and actually, when I say turn on my mic, I just literally threw on my headset, because most of the time, I play Team Fortress on mute, because I don't want to hear people talk. And I'm listening to everybody. I'm like, the heck are they talking about? And then they finally say, My Little Pony. I'm like, that crap my sister used to watch in the 90s? The heck? When did this get Oh, God. And then I started watching it. And then I told Drummy.
Yep, and then that's pretty much what happened, is that Don stopped me one night. He's like, dude, I found this server, and there were these guys, and they liked My Little Pony. I'm like, Don? There's, like, if you're coming out of the closet, it's fine. I mean, like most people, I saw the idea of My Little Pony as being so, gender stereotyped towards women that it wouldn't occur to me that it could become a gender neutral show. So I couldn't help but look at Don like, are you serious? And Don, who had apparently, you'd only seen like 3 episodes?
I only watched the first 3 episodes before I told you about it.
So he had only seen the first 3 episodes, and he was like, yeah, I watched the first 3 episodes, and it's not bad. And I usually consider myself a pretty open-minded kind of guy, always a one to try something out, and especially if Don tells me that something's good, I'll at least give it a look. Half the time we'll agree on it. The other half, it's panty and stocking. But
I love panty and stocking. Don't you either?
I'm sorry, but I really don't like panty and stocking. For everyone at home that was so hopeful that I was going to play a panty and stocking game, let's play. Not gonna happen.
There is no game, and I would refuse to play the game myself.
I didn't even know there was a game.
There isn't.
There might not be.
That's what
I
I was
hope
thinking.
not.
Because like that existed, I'd probably have it.
There's probably a porn game. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Oh yeah, definitely. There
just
probably is. That I won't get.
Guy now.
That I won't doubt.
So I sat down and started watching the episodes, and I had a few days off. I think it was off for a week.
Yeah, I hung out with you that whole week.
Yeah, and I had a few days off, so I sat down one night and started watching, and then I just continued watching throughout the whole first season. And I was like, my gosh.
Because by the time I hung out with you and all that, and I told you about it, they had all the way up to episode 9 out, and you and me sat throughout that whole week watching the first 9 episodes.
What part of that do you remember? Because I remember sitting here by myself.
You might have rewatched them without me. I remember watching most of the episodes with you for the first season.
Yeah, but I watched them before on my own, which is how I usually watch my shows.
Whatever. I remember
Sorry,
watching
Don.
episode 3. I didn't watch anymore until I came back to hang out with you.
Sorry, Don. You got the sloppy seconds.
Whatever.
You didn't get to break your pony.
So, I don't know if Don or you, Steph, know about the Jan Animations did a thing called Let's Go Meet the Bronies, where Tara Strong and John Delancey provided voice work for. Did you ever see that?
No, I didn't.
I won't. I'll put a link in the description below for people to check it out. But let me give you just a general synopsis. You have John Delancey, who's basically in verse speaking, narrating about bronies and just kind of introducing the world of bronies in his own way. And I kind of I had to agree with him in how he described the 3 kinds of fans that get into the series. And there's moderates, who are generally just people from other fandoms who saw My Little Pony and is like, oh, okay, that's cool. And there's artists who are inspired by it to do writing or to do art or music, which is probably the group of the most amazing fans, I think. And then there's hipsters who think that the My Little Pony thing is just so ironic that it's good. And I think we have all 3 of those here.
Who's the hipster? I'm really curious.
I think I'm the hipster.
Really?
Oh my god, hold on. I think I'm having a stroke.
Oh, Don. Don, I think about how you consume things, and you are a much bigger hipster in every other facet of life. So don't even start.
I don't know. I'm sitting next to a collection of vinyl records, so I might win that field. Maybe.
Ooh,
But I don't know
vinyl
if
records.
What?
Vinyl records.
Vinyl records. Nothing has sounded nerdier ever. But
Well, it's not that I'm a hipster in most things, but I liked the whole challenge that the show was making to the idea of a gender stereotype and what was considered masculine and what was considered feminine. It was challenging that stereotype, and I thought, that's really great. I find that amazing. I find that, how culture is changing, and I saw that through the show, and through the show I've seen how it's affecting the society as a whole, and I thought, you know what? This is really cool just because it tells the establishment that they're wrong.
the thing that actually really drew me into it was actually, I remember watching the first episode and being like, it's really cute so far, but I was like, I bet once you get into their personalities, they're going to be like stereotypical cartoon characters, especially when I saw Rarity. I was like, oh, she's like the fashionable rich one. She's going to be like basically just like a rich bitch who they basically tolerate. She's going to be like Muffy from Arthur or something. Like she's going to be like one of those. And when she was like when she was actually a good person and like was generous to other people and like just a legit person who was like creative, that like, that's why she's my favorite pony, because I was just like, she kind of broke that stereotype of like, if you're into fashion or if you're feminine, like you're obviously a spoiled asshole. Like, I don't know. I think it was cool to see that they kind of broke my expectations like immediately.
What about you, Don?
What?
Yeah.
You just asked me that. It's like, I don't know.
What? Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I don't.
Ladies and gentlemen, Don.
I just watch the show because it's hilarious.
And that's fine because, I mean,
I just find it funny.
especially if you go through the show, the kind of humor, it's good. Okay, let's go back to Panty and Stocking a moment. Panty and Stocking tries to be funny in a way that I just don't think is very funny. And I know it's entertaining for other reasons, and I get it's sexual humor, and I'm not like opposed to sexual humor, but I just don't find it funny because I feel like it tries too hard. I feel like My Little Pony just makes jokes that are funny, not because they're playing into a reference, or that they're trying to make jokes that only adults would find really funny, and it goes over the heads of kids. But I also find like on YouTube and the Ponies anthologies, all these kinds of like, they're not really references, but you can draw references from them. Like the whole Twilight turning into Rapidash is a thing, and so the jokes are just genuine good jokes.
Yeah.
It's just good humor that doesn't have to be dirty like Cat in the Hat, and it doesn't have to be simple-minded like, most of 90s cartoons were.
How was Cat in the Hat dirty?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry, let me be clear. I'm talking about Mike Myers' Cat in the Hat.
Oh god, that was horrible. You watched that?
Yeah, I'm like, I've never seen that.
You've never seen it? Okay, I have seen it. It is as bad as you think it is.
I know it was bad as I thought it was. My sister watched it and she wanted to cry.
It was Ron Howard's. It was Ron Howard's Cat in the Hat, and he did it right after doing The Grinch, and everyone loved Jim Carrey's The Grinch. What?
The Grinch was great. I just when I saw the trailer for Cat in the Hat, I was like, oh my god, it's just horrifying looking.
That scared me the way he was dressing that as a cat. I'm like, ugh.
And
I'd rather watch cats on Broadway.
That's like saying something when like a green hairy Yeti man is like less scary than like a cat in a hat. Like,
yeah, and the Grinch was supposed to be creepy.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say this. I always thought the original Cat in the Hat was kind of a sexual predator.
Well, when you think about it, doesn't he just like kind of show up on their house on like a rainy day when the mom's gone?
Yeah, I know. That's like a total pedophile Steve kind of move. It's like, hello kids, you want to play a game on this rainy day where you can't escape from the house?
Well, you can, but
are your parents not home? Oh, I'm sorry. I bet you're so lonely.
I will never read that book the same way again. My child.
Thanks, Drummy. You've ruined their childhoods.
Ruined many a childhood.
Drummy, ruining childhood since 1984. So, what was I gonna say?
I don't know. I'm not in your head.
Once you get onto Mike Myers, you don't.
Yeah, that's what happens. You get to Mike Myers' Cat in the Hat. Don, you were supposed to comment on something that Steph said, and you just didn't.
Because I didn't have a comment.
And it completely threw me off altogether. This is what I have to deal with, people. This is what I have to deal with. My good friend Don here.
I'm gonna stab you.
Well, if it helps, I have an update on the Transformer. I managed to turn him back into a fire truck.
Woohoo!
Well, there you go.
Good, like 15 minutes, but now, like, the enjoyment of it's over. Like, I'm kind of like, I want another one. Like, I just want a series. Like, I want it to be like a Rubik's Cube and have, like, a line of them and just, like, solve them and, like, time myself or something.
I can't have a Rubik's Cube. I eventually end up sticking it in the oven and watching it melt.
Rubik's Cubes are just evil.
Yeah, they are. That's why I play Monster Hunter. At least I have a chance of winning.
At least they're, like, fluffy Demon Hunter lady things. There's not then Rubik's Cubes.
No.
Well, Monster Hunter, I'm wearing the flesh of my enemies as armor.
That's always good.
Oh, yeah.
So, let's talk about our next part of what our channel does is obviously games.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of one of those big things we do.
Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty, like, for as far as the channel is concerned, we do more things about games than we ever do about ponies in general.
I know, that's
Like
kind of
drawing
sad.
That's really it.
I mean, I that's what I like to do. I mean, I started the channel with that premise of, I've got all these games to play. I have no motivation to play them.
And now you found one.
Yeah.
The problem is you can't decide what game to play half the fucking time.
No. My problem now is that now that I have a channel, I see games on Steam, and I'm like, oh, that game might be fun to play. Buy. Oh, how long has it been since I bought that game? 2 years? Oh. Oh.
Steam in general, like as soon
He
as
has
something
more games than me on his on Steam than I do with my giant tub of PS2, GameCube, and Xbox games combined.
Yeah, no, Steam is just pretty much, it's like meant for just like collecting games that you don't play. Like the biggest game of all is just to like collect Steam games that go on sale, because they go on sale every like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I really don't want to go into detail about how many games are sitting on my Steam account that have been there for well over a year and a half, and I've not even touched them.
Oh yeah, no, that's pretty much how mine is. Like I got so many of like the Humble bundles too and stuff, and I feel bad because they're like really legitimately amazing games I wanted to play, but I forget I have them. And, like by the time I have time, I'm ready playing something else, and
it's hard to find time. It's just one of those things. Steph, what is your if you can try to make a list, because I know this is always difficult for people, but what would you say your top 3 games in all of your life were?
oh, this is.
I know it's
I think about it a lot, so I kind of have like 2, which like Silent Hill 2 is probably my favorite game ever, just because, I mean, the environment and the music and so good in every way. But I also am a really huge fan of Okami. Like I just got a huge Okami tattoo back piece done.
I saw that on Facebook. How is it turning out?
It's pretty awesome. I go back in like a month to get the rest of it colored, but like it's pretty freaking intense right now.
Okami was a really good game. I enjoyed it.
Oh,
Me and my best friend played that for hours on end.
that game it's really long, but like every counts. That's what I like. Like it's really rare that like a game it just kept going, but I didn't care. I was just like, this is great.
Yeah.
Just like Wind Waker on crack with Wolf and no sailing, so everything just turns out better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I love Wind Waker. That's like my favorite Zelda game, which might be like my 3rd favorite game, maybe. I don't know. But I'm also a huge Pokemon fan and like Pokemon Soul Silver. So that's probably going to be like my 3rd favorite game. Just because I've spent countless hours on that series, and that's like the series I've devoted most of my time in my life to, probably.
Right. Well, Don here knows a lot about Silent Hill.
Don't know about it. I own every game, almost every game.
Are you kidding? Your soul belongs to Silent Hill.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good old James.
Don, do you want to tell the story?
Yeah, I will.
Go on.
So I own one of the first Silent Hill comic books to first come out. I was really excited about it that I even pre-ordered it and everything, and my dad thought I was nuts. Point in case is, I'm going to go and get my state ID renewed. When I say renewed, I lost my old one, so I had to get my birth certificate and all that for whatever reason. Now, I'm in my bedroom, when I was still living with my parents at the time, looking everywhere for it. My mom's like, oh, I got it upstairs. I'm like, no, because I remember getting that from you because I was tired of you holding on to my junk. She goes, fair enough. Excuse me. So, I'm searching around. I eventually get my sister to help me because she's sitting there watching me go, oh God, buying a new one's going to suck. So, eventually my sister finds it. She goes, hey, Don. I'm like, yeah, I found it. Oh, sweet, where was it? In your Silent Hill comic book. I stopped dead in my tracks. I'm like, what page is it on? This bloody-ass hell one. I'm like, close it, back away, and don't leave me alone. She goes, that's going to be hard because I'd have to back out of the room. I'm following you, trust me. Case in point, Silent Hill's the only game series to creep me right the fuck out. Next to your elevator. Next to the elevator in this building.
Yeah, I have a pretty creepy elevator.
Yeah. Actually, my elevator...
Oh, it's a kitty!
Yeah, there's a cat that's Kiwi. She has a lot to say on Silent Hill. She has a lot of feelings.
Oh, I have a lot of feelings too in Silent Hill. They're all scary.
That whole game is just like, it was one of those things I went into it. I've never been a scary movie fan, but like I was like, I've just played Resident Evil 4 at the time, and I was like, oh, I'm totally up for like something even scarier. And then I went to Silent Hill 2, and that game like ruined me for like.
Oh, Silent Hill 2 will ruin a lot of people.
Yeah, no.
Silent Hill 3 will
go into a hall by yourself ever again. I looked at like mannequins at the store the same way.
Yeah. 3's worse, especially with mannequins.
Oh.
3 is number 1 on my list if I had to pick 3 random games.
That is Don. That is exactly what I was just going to ask you. So I'm gonna guess Silent Hill 3 is on your top 3.
Yeah, it's number 1.
All right. Well, what do you got for 2 and 3?
For 2, it's definitely going to be the original Disgaea Hour of Darkness on the PS2.
That's a really weird one to pick.
I enjoyed it because it was one of the few games that gave me a really good challenge of, how many of my army members can I get to level 9,999 and have them do over several billion points of damage? Let's find out. 300 hours later, I only got 1 what? I'm not kidding.
All right, what about number 3?
The Monster Hunter series.
Okay.
And I have to say series because I played Monster Hunter 1, and then when I got back into the series, it was Monster Hunter Tri on the Wii. And I'm like, wow, I missed a lot in between.
Well, between 1 and 3...
3 and then 3 Ultimate.
Whatever. Between those, which one do you think would you rank highest? Excuse me, highest.
I have to say Monster Hunter.
The first one.
Yeah, for the PS2. Only due to the fact that game doesn't really hold your hand for very long.
You like things that are very challenging.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I get from you.
Yeah, like Monster Hunter, like the original Monster Hunter, they give you a sword and shield, no armor, and they show you what you have to do. After that, you're SOL.
Mm-hmm.
These new Monster Hunters, they kind of hold your hand a little bit, and they make it a little easier to get some of the gear. Then after that, they stop holding your hand. With Ultimate, I like it because they start you off with decent armor and one of every weapon type. But then they make it kind of easier for single player. Like, I've only lost one mission once since I've been playing it, and that's been 40 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I'm either this good or this game's kind of easy. I don't know which one it is yet.
All right. For me, number 1 for me has got to be the Elder Scrolls Morrowind, because
so good.
I am a horribly boring person who loves getting in depth in 120 hours of RPG goodness.
Dude. If we had a top 5, freaking Oblivion was number 4 for me.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
I never played Morrowind, so I can't include Morrowind.
Morrowind, for me, was just amazing in how I was just exploring a world. Never once did I feel like I was part of some grand quest until I actually got into the grand quest part of it. Right. And that's something the Elder Scrolls kind of just does. But Morrowind kind of nailed it where it was, you don't really feel like you're part of the big story until you get into it. Other than that, you're just this guy who's going on an adventure across this continent. Well, island, but I mean, for goodness sakes, when it takes you a good hour to walk from one end to another, you know.
Yeah, it'll do that to you.
But that's something I really got into. I mean, obviously, and then Pokemon Red and Blue. Well, I own Blue, so
like I said, as a child, I owned Red because my sister got Blue.
Yeah, I mean, I played Pokemon religiously when I was a kid. And
oh, me and my sister did. We went to so many mall tournaments. It wasn't funny.
And as far as number 3, that's kind of a hard choice. Just because nothing is standing out. I don't want to say like Elder Scrolls Skyrim because it can be kind of glitchy at times, and so I can't.
Yeah, even if you play it on a console, it's still kind of glitchy.
Well, the PS3 Skyrim, that's what I have, and for like the first while, it was like totally great, and then after a while, it just glitches out, and
Well, I can explain that one. Believe it or not, the PS3 has a low memory processor, so if you play it for more than like an hour at a time without turning the console off, giving it a minute, and then turning it back on, it doesn't dump, and then it tries to filter out and keep that memory, and that's what causes those glitches. The 360 you only do that for about 2 hours before it tries to dump everything, and then you're sitting there with either ridiculously long loading times or glitches galore.
Yeah.
So, I guess, like, I'm gonna catch flack for this. I know it. But I think number 3 for me was it's Final Fantasy Tactics.
I love Final Fantasy Tactics.
And I'm talking about,
You're talking the PS1 version, not the PSP version.
Well, they're both the same.
No, actually, the PSP version.
They're the same.
They have a couple of extra things.
They're the same. They're the same game. PSP just added a few things. They're the same.
That's pretty much like most PSP games. It's like console game, but they're like, suddenly you have this extra character. The end.
Yeah, I mean the extra. What is it? 2 classes: Onion Knight and Dark Knight, or whatever.
Onion Knight, Dark Knight. They made it easier to get Cloud's Materia Blade.
Yeah, I like the original for the PS1. I probably put a good 200 hours of gameplay into that.
I believe
when
it.
I owned it before.
You have that freaking arithmetic. You
Well,
have an arithmetic. I don't.
Yeah.
I can't level that job up for the life of me.
Yeah, I mean, arithmetic was one of those ones that when I found it, I was like, ooh. For those of you at home who don't know what arithmetic does, it's pretty much the most boring class to play with the greatest amount of reward. Point in case, I played that game for 200 hours and only beat it once. Because every time I would play it, I'd play it for about 20, 30, 40 hours. And then I would start the game over with a new, like, team of people. And I would level them in different ways. And I only beat the game once, and that was it.
Only once?
Yeah.
I beat the original one on the PlayStation at least twice.
Yeah, well, Don, you're Don, and I'm not Don.
Well, no, I'm saying the first time I played it, I put in a good, 45 hours only because I made the main character a mage like an idiot.
Oh, my name is Don. I totally played this game so much better than Drummy.
No, I'm just saying you did it differently than me.
Oh, look at me.
I only stuck with 3 classes.
Oh, look at me. I'm Don. I totally know how to beat Final Fantasy VIII while making it the most boring game in the world.
It is the most boring game in the world.
Not to me. If I had a number 4, Final Fantasy VIII would be number 4.
That's fine.
That was the first Final Fantasy I ever played was 8. And I don't know. I wasn't raised on PlayStation, so I was totally just as far as Final Fantasy was concerned, I wasn't introduced until I was a lot older, and then I played 8, and I was kind of it's okay. But I don't know, out of all the Final Fantasies, I've tried playing them, and I think it's just because I'm missing that, nostalgic feeling for it. A lot of people have when they're kids, that I mostly really do like the tactic games. Those are the ones I can get into now, I don't know, just because you can kind of pick them up and play them.
Yeah, and then you can put them down and then pick them up months later, and then you have no problem.
That riveting storyline, remember that great character? They're no, they're kind of average, and Tactics A2 is really good, but all the characters are just kind of I'm a generic cat-looking lady.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I'm a guy with, too many buckles yet again. I don't know, out of all the Square Enix games, I think the best one, which would earn probably my title of favorite DS game, was probably The World Ends With You.
That's God, that was awesome.
It felt distinctly different, but it also was, the first DS, or one of the first DS games to, utilize every function of the DS, because you would be, singing or, shouting and tapping and, it was just multiple things, and they utilized both screens.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good.
Yeah. Well, that is actually kind of all the time we have for now. But before we go...
Really? That felt short.
Well, it's not... You're short.
Ew.
What?
Hey, look, a mag light.
Before we go, I wanted to give some updates. Apparently, all 3 of us are going to be at ASEN.
Yeah.
Sure are.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to C2E2, but all 3 of us will be at ASEN in Rosemont. I know Steph here has her table. I'm just gonna basically be, walking around and looking stuff like I normally do.
Like I am.
Do you have any plans? Was there anything you're going to see, Don?
Out of everything, no.
No?
No, I just go to ASET, I go meet up with some old friends, I go to random panels that I find interesting, check out the, Artist Alley, Dealer's Room, all that stuff.
That's cool. What about you, Steph?
Actually, I don't have a table at ASEN. I have a table at C2E2, but I'm going to ASEN just for fun because ASEN, as fun as it is, they are probably one of the worst organized Artist Alley registrations I've ever seen. I've tried to get in for about 3-4 years now. Still haven't been able to. It's not like they judge you based on your artwork. They basically just put a link on the website the day the registration goes up, and they basically go whoever, the first 30 people who click in, get to the Artist Alley, and that's it.
Oh, well then I am completely wrong about that. But yeah, but we'll all be there.
We'll be there having fun.
We'll get together for lunch.
Yeah, for lunch, for a nice lunch.
We'll have a lunch date.
Sounds wonderful.
Sounds great. Well, as far as right now, the plan is for this to be a monthly podcast or maybe a bi-monthly podcast if it rolls along and there's a lot of things to talk about. For those at home, we'll talk about pretty much whatever comes up. We'll talk about games. We'll talk about politics. We'll just talk about whatever thing interests us. But if any of you are listening, want us to talk about something, let us know in the comments below. If you like the podcast today, leave a like.
Drummy, I got a stupid question to ask you.
You always have a stupid question to ask.
I don't think you're recording.
What? Yes, I'm recording. Yes, I'm recording.
It's green, though.
Your face is green.
No,
Yo!
Beep, 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 beep. I'm going to be like the sitcom audience. Be like, ooh.
As long as we don't end up like the next Seinfeld, I don't care.
What?
It's very hard to be a studio audience with one person, though.
Yeah.
We'll play with the sound editor and make it sound like there's
Do you want me to add laugh tracks?
Nah, not really.
I can do that.
That'd be tacky.
Laugh tracks are kind of my life.
Yeah. It would be great if we had a Barry. A Game Grumps Barry. Someone would be like, Barry, I need to hear what Don just said 4 times, Barry.
Maybe one day when
maybe one day
we'll get a Barry.
We can dream. Just find some guy named Barry on the street. It's like,
no,
your name
I'm
Barry?
afraid that if I start dreaming, Silent Hill's gonna haunt me for the rest of my days.
What?
That's I don't know. I often ask myself a question of if I had to be in Silent Hill, which version of Silent Hill I would be in.
I don't want to be in any of them. They'll all kill me.
All of them are terrifying, but at the same time, I think I would kind of fangirl a little bit if I saw a Pyramid Head. And be
I wouldn't. I'd crap myself and be like, I need a new pair of pants.
I feel like it's you.
Pyramid Head starts walking up.
He doesn't moan.
That's the sound of his sword dragging along.
It sounds like someone going down a zip line.
I was really waiting for you to go Kiwi's looking at the monitor like you're crazy.
I don't know. Whatever. It's Pyramid Head. He'll chop you in half.
You don't give no fucks.
Nope. No, he doesn't.
But okay, but that is all the time we have for today. So join us again next time here on Brony Nerds and Gamers. Thank you for listening to the Button Mashers podcast, and until next time, good night, everybody.
Night.
Bye.